Good morning, church. I'm reading from Daniel, the first chapter, verses 1 through 9. During the 3rd year of King Jehoiakim's reign in Judah, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came to Jerusalem and besieged it. The Lord gave him victory over King Jehoiakim of Judah and permitted him to take some of the sacred objects from the temple of God. So Nebuchadnezzar took them back to the land of Babylonia and placed them in the treasure house of his God. Then the king ordered Ashpenaz, his chief of staff, to bring to the palace some of the young men of Judah's royal family and other noble families who had been brought to Babylon as captives. Select only strong, healthy, and good-looking young men, he said. Make sure they are well-versed in every branch of learning, are gifted with knowledge and good judgment, and are suited to serve in the royal palace. Train these young men in the language and literature of Babylon. The king assigned them a daily ration of food and wine from his own kitchens. They were to be trained for 3 years, and then they would enter the royal service. Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were 4 of the young men chosen, all from the tribe of Judah. The chief of staff renamed them with these Babylonian names. Daniel was called Belteshazzar. Hananiah was called Shadrach. Mishael was called Meshach. Azariah was called Abednego. But Daniel was determined not to defile himself by eating the food and wine given to them by the king. He asked the chief of staff for permission not to eat these unacceptable foods. Now God had given the chief of staff both respect and affection for Daniel. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Thank you, Lydia. This is a Sunday prior to the day of Pentecost. Today, it marks the end of the season of Easter, a season of life and a season of purpose. Throughout this season of Easter, we have claimed the reality that God does not forget his people, that God has not forgotten us, that God has not forgotten you. And we have talked about different subjects, especially when there is health or death within the family. Today I want to talk about dreams. Where is God when your dreams die, when they're shattered? Growing up, I played baseball, as you can imagine. And I had a dream, like most baseball players, to go to the big game, to the Major League Baseball. However, those dreams shatter as I got older, because as you get older, your chances of going to the big leagues diminish. So I thought a good idea was to still have money and power. I became a lawyer. And I was well into that journey until a revelation of God shattered those dreams, and I realized that I was not meant to be a lawyer, or at least to exercise my title as a lawyer, but I was supposed to preach and share his gospel. And I have come to realize that as I mature as a pastor, I need to let go of the dream that I have about becoming the pastor, because I know the reality of being a pastor. I wish being a pastor was about preaching only, but there are so many other things that are expected and demanded of us as a pastor. So I need to let go of the old self and encounter a new self, one that encounters every challenge with enthusiasm and love. And that is why I encourage you today Sometimes our dreams are quite simple. Let me show you some examples of that. Yes, it is a beer commercial. But I hope that you see the other elements. There was a guy sitting in a plazoleta watching a famous tennis player enjoying the good life. And he said, "Oh, what a good life." Then you see a guy that has no hair looking at the guy with a bunch of hair to say, "Oh, what a good life." Then you see someone on the bus looking at the person riding the freedom that a bicycle gives. "Oh, what a good life." That person from the bus gets down and encounters great friends, take a picture only to post it online for someone online to say, "Oh, how good it is to have great friends. I only have nothing but a husband." As the husband leans in for the kiss, there is a guy running that looks at his hand and says, "What happened to my marriage?" And as he's running around, you see what? I will say a lawyer walking out of the office, seeing the freedom of the person that was doing exercise. And who looks at the lawyer? The guy that was a famous tennis player that upon looking at this person saw the sign of drinking a cold one. And this famous person, the only thing that he wanted was to get to a plazoleta and sit down in the comfort and enjoy a cold one. And everybody never let him. Why? Because he's famous and his life doesn't belong to him. And so he looks at the guy with the long hair and nobody's paying attention to him. And he says, "Oh, the good life." We all have dreams. Sometimes are simple. Sometimes are complicated. In our story for today, taken from the book of Daniel, you will see the story of some key leaders. You encounter the story of the king of Judah, Jehoiakim, who really was there only as a puppet of the king of Egypt. You don't know this, but Jehoiakim was the king only because the Pharaoh of Egypt assigned him to be the ruler of Judah. And I'm sure he had dreams, this Jehoiakim, but he was an evil man. Some historical books outside of the Bible, there were historical Israel books, tells you that this king would kill people to steal their land. That he had a relationship with his sexual relationship with his mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and his own mother. So you can understand, or at least accept verse 2 that says that the Lord gave victory to whom? The king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. And I'm sure that King Nebuchadnezzar had plans and dreams, right? Well, one of the things that Nebuchadnezzar did was to take some of the elements of worship outside of the temple for Yahweh and take it to his own temple of God. I'm sure that the people who created those artifacts for worship had dreams about those things, no different than the team that put the carpet together. It's an element of worship. I'm sure they have dreams about what could or couldn't happen. Not only that, but then pay attention to the young men who were kidnapped. Young men, talented, smart, and good looking. I'm sure their mothers and fathers have plans for them, but they were kidnapped and taken to a land far away from where they were. And when they get there, there is a chief staff who's supposed to brainwash them to learn the Babylonian way and to welcome them into the king Nebuchadnezzar's kingship. Good or bad, some dreams are more complicated. Perhaps some of you do not know this, but I was born and raised in Colombia. And in the 80s, the war on drugs were very active. There was this particular man who was the most notorious drug lord of Colombia. I'm sure you know his name, so I'm not going to waste my time telling you him. But his problem was not that he killed people to make money. His problem was not that he filled America with cocaine. That was not his problem. His problem was not that he kidnapped and killed people in his communa. That's not the problem. His problem was his dream to become president of Colombia, so much that he offers to pay the national debt twice if Colombia were to accept cocaine as a legal product of exportation. And the politicians, you know what they did? That's the one thing that they were not. They would take his money, but they wouldn't let him become president, and so they persecute him until they kill him. This is to show you that whether you are a good or bad person, we all have dreams. Because they are our dreams. And today, using the story of Daniel, I can tell you, or I ought to tell you, that your dreams are not that important. Yes. Your dreams are not that important when compared to the dreams that God has for you. Your dreams are not as important as the dreams that God has for you and for your family. The dreams that you have for this country are not as good as the dreams that God has for this country. So you need to let your dreams die and pay attention to the dreams that God has for you and your family. Have you ever wondered why to dream about health or money or fame? Is it just in the self-satisfaction of things? Or should you let your dreams die to cling faster to the dreams of God? I say because of this. Jehoiakim had dreams. Nebuchadnezzar had dreams. Everybody had dreams for themselves and what they want to do. But who in the story is the only one that wouldn't defile himself because he knew of the dreams that God had for him? Daniel. Daniel is a hero of the story because Daniel did not allow the dreams of this world to defile the dreams that God has for him. And that's my invitation to you on this day. Many people have tried to study dreams. Carl Jung is one of them. He was talking about how dreams have meaning only if you can understand them. Well, duh. It's like the commentator on ESPN. Oh, that was a good shot, but he couldn't make it. Duh. Of course, dreams are important if you can understand them. But they say about dreams, if you have dreams, dream about hitting the moon. Even though you miss, you might hit stars. Have you heard that before? That's great, as long as you don't forget who created the moon and the stars and your ability to actually hit them. That's the problem with dreams. We call it our dreams, and we let go of the importance that God gives to our dreams. Pay attention to Isaiah 55. If you brought your Bible app or your Bible, Isaiah 55. God says on verse 8, "My thoughts are nothing like your thoughts, says the Lord, and my ways are far beyond anything you can imagine." Do you have a dream for your life today? Good. I'm here to tell you that God has bigger dreams than your dreams. How is that even possible, Mario? I don't know, but I trust in the fulfillment on God's word that tells me that my thoughts are simple. His thoughts go beyond. Today, I'm asking you for you to allow your dreams to die so that you allow God's dream to become a reality in your life. As a different concept to grasp, but an important one. Now pay attention to verse 43. Chapter 43 of Isaiah 43, verse 18. Isaiah, a prophet, is telling us, "But forget all that. It is nothing compared to what I'm about to do. For I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry wasteland." Isaiah is affirming the people of God that you might have desires. That is only natural. You have been created in God's image according to his likeness. You have dreams, absolutely. But they're only good when you surrender your dreams to the reality of God for your life. Do you want health? Do you dream of being able to walk away without pain? Do you dream about seeing the world? Do you dream about having money? Do you dream about finding that special someone in your life? Do you dream about college? Do you dream about why? Why are you dreaming about these things? Is it only for you to find happiness or for you to give the glory to God? This is where I have to take you to the story of the 6 women in the Bible who were barren. There were 6 women in the Bible who were barren. 3 of them are the matriarchs of our faith. One of them is Sarah. The other one was Hannah. Hannah couldn't have children. And she begged God, "Give me a child." But what did Hannah do? Not only she begged for a child, she begged for her dream, but also said, "If you give me this child, I will give this child to you." This is not unique. It also happened to Mary. Mary is a young bride about to get married, is about to have a child that doesn't belong to Joseph. You see, throughout the Bible, you will see people who give of themselves, who negate their dreams so that God does something greater. Here is a perfect example. Do you know the name? So Hannah was married to a priest, and this priest had not only Hannah as a wife, but had another wife. Do you know the name of that wife? No. Do you know the name of the children of that wife? No. But you know whose name you know? The name of Hannah, who gave of herself and her dreams to give the glory to God. And you know that boy's name? Samuel, who was instrumental in bringing glory to God with David. Which, by the way, if you have not known this about our sanctuary, we pay tribute to Samuel and David on that stained glass window behind you, where you see David is wearing yellow on his knees, and Samuel is the one with the oil on the left, but the seat is empty. Why? Do you want to know why? Because Saul couldn't be there. That's why that chair is empty, because Saul couldn't be there, because Saul would have killed Samuel and David for taking his throne. You see, and I hope that you see the connection. I'm not saying that dreaming is bad. I have dreams. I have dreams for ourselves. Property had dreams. If you look at the insert, Property Committee had 4 dreams with this campaign. Well, guess what? The AC broke. Bye-bye, dreams. Let's see what else we can do. You have to remain flexible with your dreams. You have to remain hopeful in your dreams that you don't know what is best for you, but who knows what is best for you? God does. My friends, let us avoid the frustration. Let us not eat the food and the wine of this world. Let us not agree to defile ourselves with the dream of this world, but trust that God has an even better plan for you and me. Amen.